Thank you. Yeah, I don't see anybody else here. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our Student of the Month event. Always a favorite for all the nights that we really enjoy. They enjoy the knowledge of our students and their parents and educators. Going to read out the school holidays. Thank you, and there's a company from the student. After that, we take photographs of the student, of students and educators, and then do individual students with their family members. From PS Elementary School, Joseph Cannon Sorcerman. Ian Lexa, Children's Reading Center Charter School. Simon, Hillcrest Academy. The Foxy Lions, James A. Long Elementary. Play Kelly Smith Elementary. On the hill. Come up and help, Ben. Okay. Tipton, Mellon Learning Center, Pretty Great Valley. Nera Perez, Mellon Learning Center, K-12. Rodriguez, Mosley Elementary School. Hayden McGibbon, Peniel Baptist. Yeah, Smith, Putnam Catholic and Sciences. Okay. Come up and group photo. Hold on. Yeah. Yeah. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the City of Palatka City Commission meeting, March 13th, 2025, 6 p.m. I'll call the meeting to order. We'll start with education. Okay. Would you provide with the Pledge of Allegiance from Commissioner Davis?
Don't mind, I'll let it invite a guest to come up, pass the flag. And would you go with Bob, please, sir?
Thank you. Oh, do that. We're doing it.
Come for the throne of grace and mercy this evening with all our hearts. Dear God, we want to thank you for our city, for our state and nation. God, we pray for these elected and appointed officials that you would lead and guide and direct them through so many decisions. Help them, Lord, to design what is real and what is. Heavenly Father, lead and guide us all. Help us as citizens to support them and support the vision of this our great city. We thank you especially for them named one by one. We thank you for the council. We thank you for the manager. Thank you for all of those who work easily to make our city what it needs to be. Bless us and keep us as long as you can. We thank you for praise and honor.
To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll, please, Madam President.
Commissioner Davis,
Present.
Commissioner Campbell, Commissioner Jones,
Present.
Commissioner Borum,
Present.
Next on the agenda is the city manager resolution 2025 R40 and the oath. Madam Clerk. Okay.
resolution 2025 -R-40, a resolution of the city of Palatka, Florida, appointing Sia Cardi as city manager of the city of Palatka, authorizing the mayor and the city clerk to execute and test the employment of by the fiscal concerns.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you. Yes.
So move.
We have a motion second in favor. Any opposition? Thank you. No. It's. No, there you go. Here you go, right here. Oh, okay.
So I think it's left hand on the Bible, raise your right hand. Is that right?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah, right.
There we go. There we go. Okay, if you'll repeat after me. I, Sia Cardi,
I, Marcia Cardi,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will faithfully
that I will faithfully
perform the duties
perform the duties
of city manager
of city manager
and will support and honor
and will support and honor
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability
all applicable laws of the state of Florida,
all applicable laws of
Putnam
Putnam County
and the city of Palatka.
and the city of Palatka.
I hereby through this oath
I hereby through this oath
affirm that I will perform the duties
affirm that I will perform the duties
of this public trust
of this public trust
in a fair,
in a fair,
equitable,
equitable,
and ethical manner,
and ethical manner,
befitting the dignity
befitting the dignity
and responsibilities of the office.
and responsibilities of the office.
Congratulations.
Well, I don't know what's gonna be saying me.
Please do, please do. Look out for them. You can go see.
No, yeah.
Jim, you want a grant? You can move. Yeah.
We did it.
No, no, no.
Yes. To the picture. Learning. All right, so, oh, it works. Okay, so I would like to first of all give honor and appreciation and thanks to the Lord, my Father. I appreciate that He actually believes in me and would even entrust me with such a huge opportunity. I thank the commissioners. I don't know how to thank you enough for, just having faith that I will continue and that I will actually reach the goals and objectives that you have in your mind. I will continually strive to meet those objectives in an ethical manner as well. I really want to thank the employees. I mean, what a great team. The city of Palatka is fortunate to have such a great team of diverse, well-skilled, well-trained, and individuals that want to be their best. So from my heart, I'm out for your ears. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. And then finally, to the community, thank you for embracing me. 2 years ago, you came out, the 2 years ago, 2 years ago. And with I think because be not my family. And family, but what I didn't know is that you would become family. That's so you guys are my family. And I say to you that I will continually do my best. I'll be here every day that I'm supposed to be here. I'll work my butt off every day, and you can't make me stop. Don't try it, it's not gonna work. And I'm really happy that I think we have a time here at the state like this probably. I've had great times, but I really enjoy here. I know if you ask my kids, they're like, wow, she really like what she's doing, and I really do. It's important to be a part of something that matters. and coming to the city of Palatka on an everyday basis, for me, that matters. And I hope that my little effort will make your life better, because I got great plans for this city. And I'm praying to the Lord to teach me and show me. And I'm coming to the commissioners with expectation that you will lead and guide me. And I'm looking at my employees and my peers, and I love you guys. And I hope you learn to love me too. Okay, bye. Thank you.
That was 3 minutes.
Next on the agenda is the order to please punch the card.
Of course. Oh.
Yeah, he has to raise his right hand and repeat after me. I, Chief Jason Shaw,
I, Chief J.P. Shaw,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support,
that I will support,
preserve, and defend
protect, and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
and government of the United States
and the government of the United States
and the state of Florida
and the state of Florida,
and the charter of the city of Palatka.
and the charter of the city of
That I
Florida,
will qualified to hold office and meet requirements
that I will qualify to hold office under the requirement
of the Constitution
of the Constitution
and
and that I will
well and faithfully
and faithfully
perform the duties of the police pension board member.
perform these pension board
Oh, which I'm about to, and just so help me God.
and what's about to so
You're done. It's just two. When I. You'll have to drop it.
I'll be short. Thank you for the opportunity and I promise to make it fun.
The unsung here on this.
No, minutes.
Oh.
From February 12th, 2025, city manager interview minutes, and February 13th, 2025, review commission meeting minutes.
Yeah.
Do we have a motion?
Yes, Mayor, I move that we approve the February 12th, 2025 city manager interview minutes.
Second.
We have motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Thank you. For the motion, second time.
Madam Mayor, I move that we accept the February 13th, 2025 regular commission meeting minutes.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Thank you. First proclamation, safe place month. March 25th, requested reality of the I'm going down that, we have a motion to approve.
Second.
So motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Thank you. I'm just going to read the proclamation first. Whereas the youth of Palatka, Florida will determine the future strength of our country and be the bearers of our democracy. Whereas the Safe Place program is committed to protecting local youth by granting access to immediate health and safety for young people, seeking assistance and guidance as our youth need a safe haven of various negative influences such as child abuse, substance abuse, depression, and crime, and need readily available resources to assist them when faced with circumstances that compromise their safety. Whereas designated locations for youth information and help, safe places found in businesses such as restaurants, convenience stores, movie theaters, and community buildings such as fire stations, libraries, and public transportation vehicles. Whereas the success of Safe Place relies on public-private collaborations among businesses, schools, fire departments, law enforcement, and volunteers. And Florida needs more community mentors to support and positively implement young people. Whereas the Safe Place program must meet component standards relative to outreach and community relations to receive direct federal assistance as set forth in the Runway and Homeless Street Act. Whereas more than 1,700 communities in 39 states administer the Safe Place program at more than 20,000 locations. Whereas more than 473 youth have been helped at the Safe Place location or received counseling by phone as a result of the Safe Place information received at school. Whereas since the program's inception in 1983, more than 18 million youth have been educated through the National Safe Place Network's outreach efforts, familiarizing them with the safe place and providing them information about how to seek help in order to stay safe. Whereas increased awareness will encourage more communities to establish safe place locations for youth to readily access the help they need. Now, therefore, I am running for the mayor of the city of Palatka, together with the Palatka City Commission, do hereby proclaim March 16th, 22nd, 2025 as National Safe Place Week.
Hello, I'm Melanie Soldavia. I'm the Outreach and Safe Place Specialist for CDS Family and Behavioral Health Services. And this is Angela Williams, who is the Residential Supervisor for CDS. And I just want to say how important Safe Place is. Some of you might not know what it is. It's the big yellow sign that says Safe Place. There's one right in front of the police station. If you go and see it. So, can you have that? Okay. So Safe Place is a vital resource for protecting our youth. It acts as a safe haven without the fear of judgment for those who are in a vulnerable state. We currently have 19 Safe Place sites in the city of Palatka, and I would love to see that number expand higher. I invite the city and all its businesses to think about joining us and becoming a Safe Place site. It's our duty to protect these children as they are our future. At CDS, we have a saying that teamwork makes the dream work. So as the city of Palatka, if we work together as a team, we can make a dream to keep our kids safe.
Thank you. Thank you. Get the PowerPoint, please. Thank you. Commissioners, I'd just like to take this opportunity to introduce the newest employees to the city of Palatka. And we have Melissa Dryer, Code Enforcement Officer. Harold Kelly, Code Enforcement Officer. We have Robert Evans, Assistant Superintendent at the Water Treatment Plant. And Jennifer Pennington is the Administrative Assistant 1 at the Fire Department. Thank you.
The Home Run Hero Award. Proclamation of gratitude and recognition honoring an unsung hero. Do you want to? Well, unsung heroes often work tirelessly, selflessly and with unwavering dedication to improve the lives of those around them. And whereas their contributions, while often overlooked, create lasting ripples of kindness, compassion, and positive change within our communities. And whereas through acts of courage, integrity, and humanity, these individuals embody the very spirit of humanity and inspire all of us to strive for a better world. And whereas Willie Henry Mitchell, as an unsung hero, has consistently dedicated his time to mentoring young students, providing crucial support to local initiatives and spreading hope and kindness to those in need. Now therefore be it resolved that the city of Palatka does hereby recognize and honor the extraordinary contributions of Willie Henry Mitchell and proclaims this day, March 13, 2025, as a day to celebrate and reflect on the vital work of an unsung hero. Let this proclamation serve as a reminder of the power of quiet, steadfast service, and let it inspire us all to acknowledge and support the unsung heroes in our midst. And witness whereof I have unto set in my hand and cause the seal of the city flag to be affixed this 13th day of March in 1925.
For the last 4 years I've been on this commission, we have had the honor of choosing an unsung hero in our community that had great contributions throughout, whether they have service, specific duties, helping around, helping other kids, mentoring, stuff like this. Mr. Willie Henry Mitchell was a mentor, worked at Palatka High School 30 years where he taught school, coached boys and girls athletics. And he was the first African-American head varsity basketball coach at Palatka High School, making history. And he did that for 27 years, I believe. Not at the high school, but coach. So 19 years. He taught for 35, excuse me, stand to be correct. So, Mr. Mitchell, General Giant, as we call him, I got the pleasure of playing under Coach Mitchell for one game, and that was a junior varsity tournament, as I was a freshman at that time. So I didn't get a chance to play an entire season with him. However, he was this mentor, not just for me, for many at that high school. This is his wife, Miss Elizabeth Mitchell. And she deserved to be up here right beside you, Coach, because in our community, I grew up in the province, James A. Long, Sugar Hill, and in our community, we didn't see the family unit a lot. But I remember you and your wife coming up as a teenager and now a grown man, and this stands to be recognized and applauded. 50 years of marriage. So as that mentor, you mentored other men, boys would come in, and you were unselfish enough to pass the torch. As you pass the torch to Lamar Purify, to take to move on in your footsteps. And I don't know if Lamar played up under you, but Lamar and Coach Jason Shaw, who moved to Palatka and coach at Palatka High School currently, you was trailblazer. You led the way. I don't see a basketball court named after you, a gymnasium after you, or anything. And I just want to pay homage to you while I'm living and had opportunity in this community. I'm not the only one. There's plenty of people feel this way. I just happen to be the guy to have the honor to present this to you. But to our unsung hero, Coach Willie Mitchell, and thank you, Coach.
I just want to say thank you, Coach Mitchell. I came after Coach Mitchell left and retired. I became the second African-American basketball coach at Palatka High School. He taught me everything that I know basketball wise, went on to the Final Four for the first time in Palatka High School history, all because of Coach Mitchell.
And I would also like to say something to Coach Mitchell. I want to thank him for giving me an opportunity to coach underneath him. He allowed for me to coach at the junior varsity level as well as the varsity level. When I came to Palatka, I started giving back. So just because of you, I continue giving back through PAL and other organizations as well. So thank you again for all you've done for the youth and also myself.
I'd like to thank everybody, commissioners. First of all, I'd like to thank God, for being here. I'm at the age of 73 right now. And, it's been him that kept me going. But my thing was when I got into education, I felt that the kids were the most valuable thing. And they still are. And to see the product what happened in education and that I was a part of, I'm so thankful. And thank the commission and mayor for this honor. Thank you. Mayor and commissioners, citizens and staff. We just wanted to do a quick review for the fire department for last year of 2024. I believe you guys don't have the documents in your package. So I'll try to move through this PowerPoint pretty quickly. So if we can skip through, I think the first 4 pages, which is just a letter. Keep going. Yeah, keep going. Yeah, right now. So as you guys know, you gave us some money in our budget last year to get a new assistant, and we just talked about Ms. Benson. She has really helped us digitize things. We have given up, I believe, 6 file cabinets. And so now that paper has now been digitized and put into the system, and we no longer have all that paper on our property. So actually it's still in a box getting ready to be dealt with properly, but it is out of those cabinets, and it's making life a lot better. And she is really helping us modernize and get a lot of this stuff that just been pushed to the side because we don't have time to deal with it. And now it's getting done, and it's really helping us. As you go through that, you can see the different things that we have are doing, the scheduling, so all sorts of stuff, inspections, making sure that Chief Rampard's where he needs to be when he's supposed to be there, and that sort of stuff. So, on the next slide, we're just moving through some of the stuff that we've done in administration. We've had the first year stuff that's really helping us. We're looking at adding a few more for Community Connect, which allows the citizens to reach out to us, and we can reach right back to them through the internet. So if they have a question of why is there a column of smoke coming across the river or whatever, we can start answering it. Or if they have, say, my neighbors are doing something, we can check into that and let them know what the burn laws are, whatever it is. I mean, we should start getting some information from them. It allows them to give us lots of information if they want to, or as little as they want. So as we move through that, we're still moving through all sorts of new technology, trying to bring things up to date. Make sure that our firefighters are safe, the pre-planned programs help keep them safe. They can look up stuff on about every building in the city and know where the power shutoffs are, where the hydrants are, closest way to get the hose to where we need it or whatever. So we're starting to build that platform and we're getting more and more information. It's also going to let us have tons and tons of analytics. And we pull that data and mine it and get good information so we can put the resources where we need them. On the next page. This is our calls for this year, about 4,074 calls. There's a little bit of a breakdown there, but if there's any questions about any types of other breakdown, we can break it down further for you. Just trying to stay simple. Next slide. Yeah. As you may remember, we had a structure fire last year on Kirkland with a fatality. If we just got the report back yesterday, it was an accident. And it is what it is, but that was the one death that we had this year from fire fatality. Our crews were deployed out to Dixie County after the hurricanes. They got to meet the governor, and then they got a commendation from Chief Avelies from St. Augustine, who was on the mission with them. Said that they were a great group of people to have. And we know that because we work with them every day, but it's great to see the governor and other people seeing that as well. It also puts Palatka on the map. They know that we're coming to help if they need it. We've been training with the SWAT team and other things, other agencies and resources. We have about 5 people who went through hazmat this year. So we're getting our new staff up to speed. Our hazmat calls are increasing. Starting to see more fuel spills and different things with chemicals and stuff around. So it's not, it's not out of hand, but it is increasing. Next slide. Wanted to make sure that I've said something about Jim Troiano and the Beck group. They gave us a bunch of buildings to work in, to tear up and go and do build our skills in those buildings. We got to cut some roofs and stuff like that. It's just the kind of training you can't normally do. Most people don't like cutting their roof. So, it was nice to have a building that we can do that kind of specialized training. And then there's tons of other stuff there. As you know, we are probably doing close to 400 hours of training every year for vendors. Some have more depending on what their certifications. So training is constant. You can go a couple more slides. One more. Yeah. So we had a note from the fire marshal. He gave us a quick breakdown of what his deal is doing. We had over 200 construction inspections. 8 pre-construction consultations with developers and contractors. We reviewed over 30 sets of plans. We have 500 annual safety inspections. 6 formal investigations, and we have determined all the fire origin calls within the city. See some of the events that we're on. This is during October when we go to the schools and the daycares. So I think we usually see over 1,000 kids every year. And then depending on Blue Crab and stuff like that, when we have some things set up, we see even more. We have quite a few station tours and other public and education and engagement. We're doing extinguisher training with all of our industrial partners, local businesses, and other people who need that type of training. Equipment acquisitions. We've got a lot of new stuff that helps keep us going. A lot of the technology is making things easier when you have a small crew. Sometimes you use technology to get through that because we don't have enough people to throw at it, so we throw technology and tools. We have tested all the hydrants for this year. Everything's looking pretty good. As you know about new employees and recruitment, we have 2 that are in the academy now. One that is almost finished with EMT. He'll be ready to be fired in a couple of months. We've got one that is finishing up EMT and will be starting fire. And those are local kids that we. So hopefully they'll turn out and pass everything and be coming in forward. We've also had several new employees this year, Kyle Binder, Conlon Trimble, Logan Diller, Johnson E, and then Jason Pennington. And with the scholarship, we have those two. We're looking to get one more in September. Just to make sure that we have people when if we lose any. I think that was about it. Are there any questions on anything specific or?
Anybody have any questions?
Thank you, Chief.
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to say I had the opportunity to tour some of this as a new commissioner. And I was blown away by what this department does with their resources. And I would say that I'm looking forward to continue to support you and your department. We say that public safety is our number one priority. And it's we start here. Everything that we do, that we consider the effects on public safety. We want to grow, we want to build, but it's not in isolation. We have to grow our public service departments accordingly and consider them more than accordingly when we're looking at our budget and
Yes, ma'am.
here. So thank you very much for all you guys do.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
And a personal point of privilege, I need them to get some new lives.
Okay, we'll look into it.
For y'all sleep. That just gotta be nice.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. We'll get it done. Thank you so much.
Yes, Chief, I want to commend you and your staff for all what you all do for the city of Palatka and the safety, which is our top priority. Again, you mentioned that you had over 400 hours of training for every employee. I mean, that's something, that's a model that you have set, and you guys are ISO 2 rating over 2,
Yes,
which
sir.
is very, very high. Keep our insurance very low. And so that's what we want to continue to strive for. And you're saving lives and you're responding to your response time is very low.
Yes, sir.
Now the fire hydrants, you mentioned that the pressure is good. Now, years ago, prior to 2015, you didn't have such good pressure.
That's
So
true.
when you would go to a fire, you couldn't put it out, right?
That's
So
true.
we're doing the right thing here in the city of Palatka, and we're going to continue to do that. And thanks you guys for everything that you do.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I need extra large notes. Thank you.
City manager report?
Yes, ma'am. Just want to give the commissioners an update. We have been working diligently. Public Works building has, we've had a lot of progress recently. You want to just have a moment, one word.
Yeah, so we went and we started to utilize Accessory to do our design drawings. They're currently at about 65%, which is great. Seeing out 2 years, we could get half that out of the other company. Commissioner Jones had asked if we can have a company that could do both design and build. Well, Accessory has a company that will do it and offers a not to exceed number, meaning that they can move forward as soon as they're finished. So I'm excited about it.
So we're making significant progress, finally. And we hope to start construction within 60 to 90 days, perhaps. Maybe I'm a little bit more aggressive. Yeah. I'm a little bit more aggressive. Too much optimism, yeah. It's okay. Thank you.
Hold it, Joe. You have some stuff to share about this week, our road project.
Oh, yes, that was gonna be next. Okay. So the other thing that we are really working towards is improving the roads, particularly in the north-south section of town. And we had a field trip. We took Commissioner Jones, Public Works, more than one person actually, water and sewer. And we literally drove around the entire north side to get a better feel for what the need desperately is.
Right.
And I'll let you say a little more.
So we're currently, the ITB went out or is going out at the end of the beginning of next week to do a section of road. So you're gonna see a lot of work going on our side quickly. We had some drainage problems with the water sewer part.
Right.
And they're in the process. We started moving on those yesterday. So we're gonna see 4 or 5 some of the major drain areas where you can see they're all listed in. They're all gonna get taken care of.
Great.
So we're moving forward aggressively. So it's going to see a lot of.
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Make me happy.
Also additionally, do you all have the pictures for the LED sign? That's up. I want to mention about the progress that we're making with that LED sign. It's gonna be happening very soon. Ms. Pearson can talk about it.
Yes, I can. So at the February 10th Community Redevelopment Agency meeting, where you all reviewed a proposal for the, for the purchase of an LED sign. And this is having to replace the existing port consolidated sign on 2 Main Street behind City Hall. Following that, there were a few questions that were asked, staff had done some research that was regarding city ordinance compliance as well as safety issues. So we looked into that. FDOT said we are all good because it is outside of the right of way, so we don't have to go be processed through that. There's electrical at the site, so that's a plus as well. So I'd like to move forward with purchasing a sign. It's up to $25,000 threshold to have to go through the competitive bidding process, and it falls within the city ordinances regarding size, which is going to be 34 square feet. 36 square feet is, I'm sorry, 34 square feet, 36 square feet is what is allowed. And then the height of the signs can be 15 feet by 3 inches. And the amount allowed is 35 feet.
So an update is that we've been diligent for the past 4 months, trying to make certain that we comply with FDOT, with the planning and zoning, and also with pricing. We've had at least 10 different quotes, but we finally found what is economical for our city. And as individuals come from the bridge down, you'll see what the city of Palatka welcomes you. There's a part of the sign that will be started, but the rest of it, we can put all kind of messages there. And even the county has been excited about this project as well, because they're also going to put some of their messages on there as well. So this is a good project. Just wanted to hear live solution. Right solution, during the live solution, we found that also there. We have been able to work with them and they're giving us.
Yes, Mr. Thompson.
Eddie worked with me extensively to bring this.
Mr. Thompson's here as well.
Oh,
Yeah, he's here.
Yeah, okay, there we go.
so we all of us work together. Yeah. This is a win for our city. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna let you take the lead on this, but between Ms. McCarty, myself, and Mr. Boyd, his assistant, we came up with a wonderful opportunity that gets Mariah back to the community, city of Palatka, through conversations and came up with a good program that we can do 2 days a week, starting at 10:30 to 2:30. With the riders starting at the train station, the ending at the train station at 2:30. We're just very thankful to see the service restart.
And this is in response, direct response to the commissioner's desire during the budgeting process. And we're staying within budget. We're not giving any more than what we were allowed.
Thank you, everyone, for working so diligently on this.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it.
Hank Bryan Park is completed. Just wanted you to be aware that Hank Bryan Park, do we have a picture? It's actually completed. There it is. You have the bathrooms and have the, the water fountains and so this is finally maybe 2 years, but it's done. And just wanted the commissioners to know that we followed your request and we did complete it. Chamber improvements is Karen, want to say something about? Chamber, how we've improved the system.
Okay, so the system, sorry, it's a new system. It'll actually, we're gonna be getting rid of the microphones. Because if you look up in the ceiling and you see those 4 dots, they're recording right now as well. And they're picking up sound. So that's why we get some feedback. We're still trying to work on the system. We're trying to do it over here to play with it a little bit. But it's coming together and we're waiting on 1 more camera so we can do the dual picture. Right now, if somebody was to stand at the podium, the camera would automatically go to them. If one of you guys are speaking, the camera's gonna go back to y'all. So if you, so in the future, hopefully this camera will come in. We've been waiting for it. It'll split. So if Commissioner Warren is having a conversation with the person that's voting, he'll split the
You'll
camera.
see both.
So you can see both talking to each other instead of the whole dais. So this is what we've been working on. Yeah, so this is what we've been working on and trying to make it a lot better for everybody involved, including the Zoom land.
Exactly. Also, with Peter, Peter, you want to say something with, Peter's assistant? We've been working diligently for about 4 months, 3 to 4 months. And finally, we do have the cloud-based phone system. We have selected AT&T, I believe it was.
Yeah, we went with
The picture, please.
we went with AT&T through the Florida Department of Management Services, FUNCOM. It's gonna save us lots of money.
Yes.
Completely state of the art. We had to do it because of the necessity to separate our phone system we presently have now, which is based in the police department. We had to separate from the police department servers. And it's a win-win for everyone. It's after going through the state of Florida contract, if we don't like it, there is no contract, it's months to go. If we don't like it, we can do a new one next month.
So basically what we have now is we will have a better phone system. We will also be able to change the names. We can't do that now. Additionally, the state of Florida will be in control of managing the quality of the service. And if they do not provide it well, state of Florida will get in and handle it. So this is a much better that we should be saying, another report, like internal report to let you understand more about the financial status as well.
And
Thank you.
one of the other benefits to this is that every single employee who has a phone can now have their own telephone number.
Yes,
If
okay,
you want to
great,
dial
right.
extensions.
It's just a lot of benefits. And that's the last comment. I did want to talk about that land project. You all asked that you allowed us $200,000. We were able to complete the entire project for like $100,000. And so, and also we, sports houses, but with water meters. And there is no lead.
Thank you.
A big zero lead. And our report has been submitted to the state. They're happy. I just want to thank the commissioners again for believing in us. Thank you again.
Thank you.
We do Commissioner Kansas report going to the RP on the town. And the have developed various initiatives. You will start seeing that. So we don't want to have town hall meetings and not do anything. So I just want you to know that we are committed to implementing programs that will help our youth. And again, thank you.
Questions?
I have a question, and this is an information question. I think my wife and I was driving across the bridge and we saw the, no, my wife and I was me. No,
I know.
no, I can't have to rephrase. Anyway,
Go ahead, Commissioner.
The army man that's on both sides of the bridge, left and right, and as well as east and west side of the bridge. Who's responsible for those? Anybody know?
Yes, sir. That the county, we take part both half and half. We try to help. The point is we don't clean them as much because of the bronze that they're made of. The more you clean them, the worse they look, believe it or not. But we do get out there and we dust them off and we try to clean them up the best we can. Which is Unsung.
They look bad. And they need something needs to be done to them because if you're doing all the beautification downtown, I think to pay homage to the servicemen and women.
Agreed.
I think that should be paid attention
Okay,
to.
I will make sure we contact the county and get involved.
Thank you.
But we've done a lot of great things. I just don't want something like that to be overlooked.
Noted.
We'll have nice well-lit LED sign that's probably gonna light that area up a little bit more.
It's gonna look good.
Thank you, Commissioner. Know the age. After.
That is correct.
In terms of, you know.
It's kind of like the cemetery,
There's no damage done.
Yeah.
You're gonna do it very carefully.
cleaning products to actually damage it at this age. So we try to come up with alternative methods, but we'll work on that, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to public comments. I'm going to open the floor to public comments. We do have some comments. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes and be respectful. First, we're going to start with Mr. Vickers. Please give us your name and just your city of residency. I know you're going to do it.
SQ Vickers, 207 North 18th Street, Palatka, Florida, 32177. To discuss some issues that we have here in Palatka. In the past few years, we had 4 deaths that could have been avoided. If we had people that, when we have a police force that have people that disrespect, when you have 5 to 8 police cars sitting and somebody comes up and shoots somebody, in front of the police. That's disrespect to the police, isn't it? I'm talking about that because the first one happened, I was outside observing the police across the street, and the governor of Florida put in place an ordinance or something 25 feet away from your vehicle is a nuisance, and you could be fined for it. A man on Facebook said he was 4 blocks away, and he could hit noise. They started across the street and didn't do nothing. Because of that. The next time across the street, then 8 police cars over there. The man walked with automatic weapon on his shoulder, right in front of the police, and started shooting other people. Disrespectful to the police officers. What I'm trying to get to is that we as a people have to do something, and it can't be done. Noise outside is not tolerable. We don't tolerate that. It's a law saying that you don't do it. If I call for help, they say they don't do it because that's your private property. We don't take private property problem. You want us to move the people, tell them to shut down and go home. Is that the correct answer, sir? Anybody want to answer that to me? Today or tomorrow, whatever.
We will answer we'll
Ma'am?
provide some responses after your question, after we get through everybody. That's just how.
Take until tomorrow then?
No. It'll be quick. There's not a lot of public comments.
I'm talking about, these kids died because somebody didn't do their job. Twice, and I'm looking right at it when it happened. I was standing outside, I had witnesses standing outside when the shots went off. I'm talking to the guys who had their music playing. And he shut it off. At the time he closed the music off, the shot started. Across the street, the police didn't come, they called nobody to come to take those people to the hospital. They were transported in other people's vehicles. The next one, nobody came up. There's something wrong with going around here because people dying and police said right there with a communication to the fire department, out to the rescue department, they've come here. I heard the police chief say that, oh, we're gonna meet them on the way there and we're transporting the rest of the week. That's a waste of time. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Clark?
Accountability is important to me. Nobody's person. Don't try to flip the script and make my reaction the issue when your actions the one that lit me back. It took me 20 months to get an answer to a public information report. City do not have no sales document of my business. I showed y'all documents where I was in that business. Y'all brought the police up here to make it seem like I wasn't in that building. I got a fire state, fire chief up right here right now. He can show you I was in that building. I walked in here with this, and I walked out of here with nothing. So It's dead wrong for what's going on. Everybody just sit up there every time I come in here. Nobody don't want to say nothing about the situation. If the city could commit fraud, commit crime, and y'all ain't gonna hold them accountable for it, how y'all think the city is the city gonna do right? And to follow up with what Mr. Vickers said, I was one of the people that drove that man to the hospital before he died. So it's like, y'all wanna hold us accountable, but y'all don't wanna hold yourself accountable. So now what are you gonna do knowing that your city committed fraud, knowing that y'all gave my business away, knowingly I got $100,000 worth of equipment. It ain't even none of it. It's no gold rush one. Register with some did. It's no EIN number for that business. It ain't have no LLC on that business. But y'all transferred my ownership over to me. But y'all holding me accountable for what y'all did. So we gonna be fair? Or we just gonna have silence about this the whole time? If I'm in the wrong, I don't really think so. I walked in this business and registered my business with y'all. Y'all know I ain't got my business. Nothing. Y'all stole. So if I come down here and take $100,000 worth of y'all equipment, I'm going to jail. I can't file a police report because the chief is part of the investigation. That's a conflict. So, rights. Do I have rights or I don't?
Thank you, Mr. Moore. Ms. Duke?
Big school, Palatka, Florida. Seems like such a minor thing. Ain't even turned in a card. I just wanted to get it, find out if you have any kind of update on the splash pad that y'all were talking about doing on the riverfront and you know where it is. I know there's been so much going on and I know that's not a major thing, but I just wanted to know if there's any updates. Thank you.
Thank you. And we will move on to commission and staff responses to any of these issues brought up. Oh, wait a minute, excuse me. Is there anybody else here for public comment? On general items, non-specific to the agenda. Seeing none, we'll close public comment and move on to commission and staff response.
Yeah. Thank you.
Issues
Thank you, ma'am.
brought up.
As it relates to splash pad, we have been in the midst of securing quotes. We do actually have quotes that are within very close to the amount that was budgeted for this year, which was $375,000. We are having to evaluate moving forward, even though we have quotes that are reasonable. Primarily, some of the concerns that have been brought up is, do we need to deal with other matters like assisting homelessness prior to putting the splash pad there? So there are some issues or concerns that we're following up on. But we have the quotes now, we have been investigating, and we will soon understand how to move forward. So that's what splash pad. As it relates to Mr. Clark, Ms. West, would you like to address a part of that, please?
Sure. There was the comment that it's taken 20 months to respond to a public records request. This would have been during the time frame that I was handling all the public records requests for the city. This particular request that Mr. Clark is referring to was made on January 25th of last year. It was for the allegations regarding the trespass warning that he received. The response and the acknowledgement to the public records request was made that very same day. I took it on an Excel spreadsheet. We have the trespass warning as a responsive document. The city is not in possession of any documentation regarding the allegations that brought the trespass. So we cannot produce produce the document that we don't actually own. So that is the situation with that. We have been fully compliant with responding to the public records request.
As it relates to any sale documents, there are no sale documents that we have in our possession. And also, just so, a point of clarification, the city does not have the authority or the right to transfer anyone's business. The city cannot do that. What the city does is extend the privilege or right to operate a business at a particular location. And that is done through the Department of Planning, and it is called the BTR, or, you know, what that means is the business tax receipt. So that's the only thing that the city really can do. We're not able to transfer ownership of property. We have met many times with Mr. Clark and to try to help with the circumstance. Ultimately, it does appear that he may need to seek counsel, but we've done as much as we can understand to do at this point.
And Mr. Vickers was the first to come up. Chief Shaw?
Again, good evening, Mayor and Council. As it pertains to Mr. Vickers and the incident that occurred on his property, I think you all are all aware that we've discussed this multiple times. Mr. Vickers' account is not totally accurate. And we've had conversations and meetings with Mr. Vickers on it. It came up with different solutions that we've talked about, not only with him, but with you all in here. And we haven't had a call back for service at his place of business to where we've had anything that caused any issues, again, with Mr. Vickers. As it pertains to the evening of Christmas and the account that he displayed as far as the individual carrying a rifle, that is not necessarily true. He did not pass in front of the officers with a rifle on his shoulder, and the officers did not stand by and watch the incident occur. I think there's multiple videos going around showing the officer taking action, not only when the shooting occurred, but then also rendering aid to the victim that was on the ground. Not more I can go into that because that is still an open investigation, but again, we offer him to come in and sit down with us. And if he has issues and new issues that have arose, then we're willing to address and take care of it. Again, this is the first time we've heard from Mr. Vickers since the last time he walked in and provided similar accusations again to you all. And we attempted to talk to him that time. We actually met with Mr. Vickers and agreed to work with him hand in hand on some teen activities that he was looking to put together. Some kind of just kind of caught off guard on the issues that he's brought up again, and not sure why we are continuing to bring them back up after we've already addressed them multiple times.
Thank you. And public comment is ended, sorry. No, you can't, no, sir. No, sir, please stop. Please, no, public comment is closed. Public comment is closed, I'm sorry.
I'd like to follow.
Is there any commission comments?
Yeah, I have a comment. Young lady asked about the splash pad, and I have a question about it as well, because we know about the funding. It was allocated for the splash pad downtown on the riverfront. And conversations have commenced. My question to you, city manager, why would it be a issue if both projects are going on simultaneously? We know we do have a homeless situation that we're dealing with throughout the community. But I'm not understanding funding is not coming from the same place for both of those projects. And also there was made mention that splash pad could be covered by some private public partnerships, which I actually had a phone call today about what's the status, because people wanted to help with it, but we haven't had an update. So I don't want that to impede the traction that that project have to put it on the back burner, because that's something that I think the community is getting behind. It's just a matter of where we want to put it, and I think we should ask the neighbors that's downtown businesses where they would like to see it and to what capacity. So if we involve them in this process, I think it'll move along quite swiftly.
We'll take that, your recommendation, and we'll move with that. We did start that process. We had begun to meet with the businesses in that downtown district. Not only that, I did have Public Works as well to meet with the county because they have a splash pad. We wanted to understand the recurring maintenance care. I think we got a good understanding of that at this point. We know what the, possible difficult part of putting it together. And we're still pursuing that, so we're not going to stop. We'll move forward, and at the next, agenda meeting, commission meeting, we'll give a better update, a more detailed update
Great.
on the splash pad.
Any other commissioners have any comments?
I just had a comment to piggyback off Commissioner Jones, but in terms of like moving forward with that, he said that there are some community partners who want to do the public-private partnership with the city to in regards to the splash pad. Maybe you set up an account to where it's so that they can contribute to that specific thing. And so if there's funding that's available that we can collect and it's dedicated to that particular project, we need to start engaging this as soon as possible and keep everybody in the loop.
Commissioner Davis? Okay, thank you. We're going to go on to the consent agenda, and the items need to be removed from the consent agenda.
I do have a question. I would like to pull P and Q. What's good?
Okay. Anybody else?
I'd like to pull M.
Any else? Commissioner Hall? No? So,
I'd like to make a motion that we approve all items except M, P, and Q.
we have a motion. Can we have a second?
I second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Thank you. M. MOU. Jim at Jenkins for back of the call.
Eddie Cartwright, 1800 Holy Street, Black, Florida. The MOU with the Palatka Athletic League, midway through their basketball season, they had issues with the gym where he was at. Captain Williams and talking about we started this one-on-one game for a couple of weeks. So it's not time for agreement to their agency for the rest of the season. They got a couple of months out to give us an opportunity to put something, but also give them a place to go. Sure.
Thank you, Mr. Cartwright. Specifically, I noticed in the MOU, it says that the city staff will be responsible for opening and closing the gym, and I'm assuming monitoring it while they are using the gym. Is there a clause in terms of that, if this is the outside, are there any employees? Is there a clause to the city?
Normally it would, but this one time thing, the Reno Fields and Courtney James decided that they would kind of come in and kind of help with the facility, and it just, I guess we call it kind of. But also most of the time, the program that we had going on, we had also had another program going on at the same time.
Okay, I'm concerned about the in-kind gift. We have to talk about that because I want to make sure if the city is going into this MOU and we are agreeing with them that we're providing city staff. I think we have some abilities or something there. I'm not sure. I will direct that to our city attorney. And this is a one-time.
Yeah,
So I noticed in the MOU, it says 1 year, like, so that, this is really where I pulled it to. I didn't understand the date. It says the term of this agreement is 1 calendar year commencing on February 8th, 2025 and end on March 20th, 2025. Like, sounds.
Well, it was the calendar of basketball season that they had. So actually, the program is actually open now as we speak. So it was just to cover.
So this is a request for 1 game?
Well, this was request, this MOU was created way before the commission, but it was the first time we could bring it to you on the commissioners chambers to kind of let you know what was going on in the.
Okay, so what I'm gonna ask is for direction from our city attorney.
So this contract has been reviewed. We do have a indemnification clause on the liability issues is worked into the MOU. Was that your primary concern?
So 1 calendar year commencing February 8th through March 20th.
Yeah, that's a Scrivener's error. I mean, it
Thank you.
obviously.
That's really.
That was, okay, sorry, yeah, that's
So is that March 20th, 2026?
commencing now for the next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so, okay, thank you. I didn't understand that. Is this week? But I do want to address the question. My other question is was staff. And is the staff allowed to do an income?
Volunteer.
Maybe let me correct it. It's not an in-kind. What we did was we kind of worked their schedule around comping that time off to them or flexing that time to where they can. So if they come in on the weekends, they would leave a little early on the week just to cover that.
Thank you, using current city policy.
Yes.
Thank you.
The in-kind was, I apologize.
No worries. Thank you. I appreciate it. I don't have any further questions.
So for clarity, I think you hit on what I was gonna ask, once you open it up. So instead, say for instance, that the hours on Saturday, would that be a Friday taken off and you work Saturday?
Well, we would give them an opportunity to kind of pick, as long as it's in the work calendar week, pay period, to what time they want to take off. Most of the time, they will either take off early on Friday, or they come in late on Monday. So they kind of come back.
Go ahead. I think you.
Okay, so I may not be going down the right path, Commissioner, but I will say this. We recently approved a policy. So we want to state that whatever occurs, it follows current city policy for employees regarding comp time, eligibility, and following that full process. That's the point I want to make. And thank you.
So if I'm understanding correctly, Commissioner Davis, we're saying if there is a programming, you scheduling it, it's programming. So that means you have programmed work hours for that time. So if you already know that there's gonna be games, that should be work scheduled for that versus it's gonna be extra and additional hours because that's an additional cost.
Yes.
And I just wanna make sure that we're clear and we're saying it in this meeting so that there won't be overtime and comp time occurring for a program that.
Yes.
Okay. Great.
Any additional questions? Do we have any motion to adjourn?
Mayor, I move that we approve the MOU with Palatka Athletic League to use the gym at Jenkins for basketball with the correction of the date in the MOU.
Thank you.
We have a motion second. I'm not sure if I need a second first, but Commissioner Jones.
Yeah.
Baker?
Aye.
Thank you.
Mayor,
Yes.
I would like to state, I did not vote for this. One, just because I came in, but two, I serve on the board of the Palatka Athletic League. So I wanted to make that transparent.
Thank you.
Yes, you just have to fill out the form.
Yeah, recusal.
Yeah.
Release of lien 702.
I pulled it and I want to know why are we, again, ask a question. Reduction. Process that goes into utilities, we have the magistrate to come out and hold a meeting. Have code enforcement go out and enforce these violations, and then we come back and we write it off. I just don't get it. Could you please help me understand all this one?
Go
Is it appropriate, like, man, is when, so we can get everything under one time and prevent all the. Can I speak before Mr. Barrow?
No, go ahead.
So along the questions of Commissioner Jones, what I'd like to know before you answer the question is, I noticed in this report, I believe it says that you're asking to reach the lien based on incurred expenses. Is that correct? Meaning the city has already obtained $4,406.66 for this lien. And is the request for the lien to be received with that covering? I'll say one question. Overall, we want to know, has the city recovered fee to cover the cost of the city has expense?
No, I can,
Well-
go ahead.
Well, I'm gonna let Ms. West answer the $4,000 of the recovery, the cost of the money that we put in to demo the property 704. 702 Olive was a lien of $10,016 that occurred through some violations. One is found, the right team and myself, Ms. West, kind of determined that the property was in compliance, but with for the violations that was on there. And get the determination of staff, admin fees and everything, brought everything down to 25 feet. That is the consistency with most of the properties that we have done over the last 2 years. And our goal in here is actually compliance. It's a hot city, looks beautiful, the beautiful gym city that y'all had when y'all was brought up. So that's our main goal, to bring that, the fine fees are just levies to kind of enforce and help people, encourage them to keep their property, or get the property in compliance. So the 702 Olive was a $10,600 fine fee they accumulated that we brought down to 2,500. The 704 Olive was a piece of property, burnt piece of property that the city had to demo, that we are trying to that Mr. Mansky kind of get out of beneficial.
So that amount, the $4,406 actually stems from an abatement proceeding that was brought in 2013. Those are the funds in addition to the 2,500 that we are trying to clear. So that's the funds are basically costs that we are trying to recoup from that account for this reduction. So you're not coming out of pocket on anything.
Okay, so, I wanted to know, I was looking for photos of being in compliance. When the last time you went and seen that property? Because I saw the property yesterday.
Well, see,
It said
in compliance with the violations that was on the property at the time, we have to go with that first. We cannot add any violations to the current violation or the code enforcement board that did it back in 2000, if I'm correct, 2015. So we have to go with that first. Now, we can initiate new violations, the new claims on it, and it probably does have that on there. But right now, we only can release the one that we have in current violation. That
and my mindset is, if I apply for a lien reduction, I would consider this in compliance today. If I had violations from way back, and I'm asking for a lien reduction, at least it should be in compliance today when it's coming up to the board. It's not in compliance now for new
And that's
violation.
that is what we bring to the applicant that comes in. But what we can do is start a case on it. But we can't, he have the right to come in and apply for a lien reduction if the compliance is of the violation that he had at that time at that board. So we gotta honor that first. Now we can add more charges to him, new charges, not some more, new charges to him to this, but that's a separate case. That's a separate hearing. That's a separate timeline that we have to run. So this is about, he asked to remove his current violation. Now, again, the commissioner, you have the right to deny. But we, as the city code enforcement and the black right team, if the applicant come in and have justification to we have to take
This applicant indicated that they might be attending by Zoom, so really quick, I just wanted to check if you had anyone in your waiting out. All right, thank you for checking.
Did I intend it?
Apologies.
So it won't be fair to kind of ask you, but the question is, when the last time have we, as the code enforcement, I was gonna know the last. I'm just gonna say, I saw it, I was over there because I wanted to know were they in compliance. And if I'm not mistaken, is that the house that burned or not?
No.
There's a house next to it that burned?
Yes. Well, I don't know about next door, but this house is not actually a.
702 and 704?
704 was the one that burnt. That's the one that we're trying to recoup the demolition and the abatement process that City did back. 702 was for something.
It's still like it.
And again, we are aware of that, and we also have actually a current case on it, but we had to, he asked for to close this case.
Okay.
Commissioner Brown?
Yeah, so I'm not friendly to having the city to have to go back out. If we move to reduce this fund and then that completes what was already in the pipe. And now if the new case is initiated, then we got to go back out and we got to do this whole thing all over again. So I'm not friendly to having to reduce anything. We got to go back and do additional. So, I mean, but we're gonna come to the vote. That's my position on it. And I think, like y'all was saying, the active code enforcement throughout the city, that should have already been on radar in terms of from the time that it was in violation to now.
Well, see, these violations occurred before our predecessor, our staff. These are back in 2012, 2013. So we don't have enough evidence to fight for that same case. Best we can do is start a new case on these properties. And the only way the best thing to do is to close out this one and then move forward with new cases. Again, we can continue to leave it at the 10,000 because it was closed out in the system at 10,600. We can leave it at that and force them to pay that and then come back again with a new lien reduction, or we can give them this and then have them be accountable for the new case that we're bringing up to.
Commissioner Davis.
So let me just kind of go back to basics. When I'm reading the staff report, everything that occurred, it occurred with the prior owner.
Yeah.
So I want to state that.
Yes.
We have a new owner and the new owner has applied for the lien reduction.
Correct.
Am I understanding correctly that while the house is not up for code or these items, in other words, we want to recoup these dollars, do something with that? Well, I think you said it. We cannot do anything else on this property from or is this a true statement? This is a question I'm asking. From a code enforcement perspective, we can't put codes on top of, this is one case. No, you can't. We're trying to close this case.
Yeah.
And to fellow commissioners' question. And then you'll open a new case because the house is still not in compliance.
Most of the time in the lien reduction process here, we are aware of the house still needs some work. The new owner has gave us clear evidence that he is gonna make sure he bring that into compliance with the next day. Best he can, with full permits and stuff.
Okay.
But as that case right here, we can't add no more violation to this case, because this case has been closed out to the predecessor code enforcement. Board. Then we
Okay. Thank you.
Commissioner Campbell.
I want us to be mindful of the conversation that we had previous where a lot of stuff was implemented. And in order for us to get to a place where we are caught up and able to move forward, this is why a lot of this has come before us. This is not the first time that we've had anything with regards to code enforcement come before us. We've actually had an extensive conversation with regard to the entire list of requests that we do before us. But the request, from my understanding, from those conversations, was to allow us to get to a place where we're closing out all of the old stuff so that we can focus on the new stuff that is requiring us going back out. We can't fault this team, we have to fault the team that was there prior because they got to that, they got allowed to get to this point. So what Mr. Cochran is doing is trying to get to where we're stable when it comes to that's about the conversation that we had before. While we may not be friendly to it, it's still not going to rectify, especially if there is an owner that is over that particular property.
Commissioner Brown is next.
Here's my position. The new owner purchased that property. You get everything that comes with it.
Yeah, that's correct.
Right, whether it's liens, whatever. They own it, they got it. So why should the city have to reduce the lien when you consciously purchase the property knowing the condition in the state? That's the issue.
Commissioner Davis. Thank you for the clarification, Commissioner Campbell. So my request is, in the future, Mr. Cutright, if items that you're asking for a lien release on fall into the category of cleanup, it would be helpful to me if we just can state that there may be some things with it, but this is part of the cleanup, and I get the things may come. I'm just saying for me. And I also want to clarify, when staff comes with recommendations for lien releases, I am friendly to them. But I just, now that I have had that some of this is still coming, that would be very helpful to a clear picture for me of things that may fall into that category. And explain also in short term that the benefit to the city may be greater by releasing the lien than continue. Thank you.
I have one closing because I started, it was mine. Okay. Commissioner Warren's spot on. People, that's the game that's being played right now. People are buying these properties sight unseen. They know what the condition is. If we're gonna come in and they know that the liens will be washed away, $2,500, but they're still not in compliance, I cannot say yes or feel any remorse for a person who still haven't cleaned up that property. That's not right. That's not fair to the neighbors. That's not fair to a person who keep their yard clean and their property clean. And I took the picture, but I had it on a city phone. I didn't bring it in here. If you see it, you know it's not in compliance, and nobody have worked on that property. So rather we talk about we're cleaning up the old books. I understand cleaning up the books, but I don't understand giving everybody a pass. Okay. And that's where I'm at.
Commissioner, can I?
So that we end this and not make a decision, a hasty decision, I'll make a recommendation that this be tabled given the opportunity for the individual who is now the owner to make some type of adjustments to the property so that we can see that they're making an attempt and then bring this back to us at a different meeting. Instead of us denying or accepting it, this would allow the city to be in a position to say, hey, I'll tell Siri I'm talking right now. But it will give us the opportunity to give them the ability to make an attempt. Because I hear everyone's concerns, and I believe everyone's concerns are valid. And then if it's going to save us an opportunity from having to go back on to start a new case, which I get ultimately, that may be the thing that's going to happen, but at least have a conversation with that property owner and say, we need to see some improvements to take into consideration.
May I speak now?
Yes, you may.
Now, I truly understand and I will do what the commissioner's wishes are. The only concern that I have is if we do not continue to bring these lien reductions and give them opportunity to clean this property up, a lot of your liens are excess to $50,000 to $70,000. And you want this properties to be cleaned up. You're gonna have it hard for people to come in and try to buy these properties to clean them up with that kind of levy fine. This gentleman bought the property in January. He is in the process of pulling permits and everything to fix the property up. Yes, not in compliance, but he has started a dialogue with us about this property. The predecessor, we didn't hear nothing from. So that's where I'm at. But I have no problem with going back to this young man and do this organization and trying to see exactly what we can do.
I think in order for us to be fair and concise, going back to Commissioner Davis' request, when these things come before us, identifying them as cleanup, I think would be critical and vital. But prior to bringing it to us, making sure that if it is cleanup, that there is some type of consideration for the property before it comes to us. Because again, it's kind of hard to please all five of us. But in order to compromise and get and to make sure that everyone's voice is heard, just take these things into consideration prior to that. Again, I'm not Commissioner Davis. I'm not saying that I'm against the link reduction. If it's going to help us and aid in our efforts to get the city where it needs to be, but then we also got to take into consideration case by case basis. And if it's something that we desire, if we need to build policy or this, that's something that we need to take into consideration instead of going by the whim. And if there are checklists that we need to have prior to that, before it comes to the commission saying that this should not consideration to take just so that we can be fair in the process, understanding that possibly give us the guesstimation of how many cleanup properties we have before us. A guesstimation.
How many lien reductions that we have done?
That you were trying the housekeeping aspect that you're cleaning up.
Well, see, these are housekeeping. The ones we did last commission meeting was housekeeping. Those errors, scribbles errors, legal that was filed, that should have been filed. These are ADT cases that are open because they have fines. Once somebody purchased the property, that's when they become on our radar. We know they're there, but we can't do anything because the original property owners have went away and left just abandoned. Either LLC groups that said that from North Dakota said they're not gonna do anything. We get in there when somebody new buy the property and wanna fix it up. That's when that comes on our radar, this property. So this was not a cleanup to a certain extent. It was a violation that was on the books that once somebody purchased the property, then they came owners of it. And they came to us and let us know, said, we have a $10,000 fine on this. They said they want to clean it up, but they want to apply for a lien reduction for that. And then due diligence to bring the property to the.
So they were aware when they purchased it via title
Yes.
search that this lien was on it. Okay, fine. Davis,
So I'm gonna,
that's okay.
so part of it is I put my hand,
We'll start with Commissioner Davis and then we'll
So
take it.
I'm looking for a direction because what I heard Commissioner Campbell say was he recommended. I'm a friend to this motion is accepting the recommendation of city staff in light of what I've heard. When I'm thinking about what we're talking about, what's the ultimate goal? Is we want these properties to be restored and to be in compliance. So what I hear in this case is evidence that this particular property, there's a goal towards working to that. So I am not friendly to pushing this down the road. I'm friendly to approving it tonight based on what I've heard from Mr. Cutright and hearing the additional explanation.
Commissioner Brown?
Now, I want to be clear that I am for whatever's gonna be right, and again, and I'm all in favor of lien reductions, but it has to meet some form of criteria. It has fallen outside of that criteria. We gotta set standards somewhere. So we're constantly moving things around. We just revamped our code enforcement. We made policy as it relates to code enforcement and how we operate. So you hit the $10,000 mark. We have people who may have gone out and purchased property that didn't know that liens was on this property.
Yeah.
Or they might know. You don't know what people do behind the scenes in order to get reduction liens reduced. But I'm not into all of that. I'm into what we approved. We worked on it very hard when we had our former city manager here. And he's in the audience now. So, but again, when we did an awesome job of putting that together, all of us. So we can't keep moving the mark as we so choose, because we're doing a disservice to everybody else who have come before the commission. Some have been denied. I remember another property on the 700 block that we denied of a person who wanted a lien reduction. And they were out of county, but they had property here. And we sent a message to say, no, you're out of county. We have property that's below the standards. We need you to get them up. That's what we're here to do.
I think it was a 50% reduction. Yeah.
Correct.
It's gonna be done.
Yes.
50%. Yeah, we did it right here.
The
50%.
that was the 50% portion of the lien reduction application, the same one that Mr. Holmes and myself and everybody did with Ms. Val. It's the same one we're using now. 50% is the start. We reduce the property down. If the violation is more than the property itself, we come down to the property value and then we go 50%.
So what is the property value, Mr. Cutright? I think it's like 20,000.
Yeah.
So we're within that.
So, and then we have questions that they answer on hardship to bring it down a little bit more to where we deem to be either admin fees or a price. And that's what we've been doing. So the same policy we've been 3 or 4 years ago, the same we've been doing now, is just that this one right here, because of the simple fact that this person bought it in January, he applied for a lien reduction to try to, it's corporation, I don't want to say person, but it's corporation, and they want to do a lien reduction, but it's not totally in compliance with the way it looks, but it is in compliance with the violations that was on it back in 2012. So that's the question. The violation in 2012 and 2015, when the code enforcement put this stuff in place, it's not the same violation that we're seeing today.
So those have been remedied, and again, we're talking about that situation is remedied and going forward from there. And we also, I understand there is concern, this is not to streamline making operations, and to bring the figure to a certain. What it was at, and it's a corporation, but we want to invest in our community and then, entirely, so we have to achieve that balance.
Do we have a time frame that they will bring it in compliance, like a date?
Normally, when we do the lien reduction, we give them 90 to 120 days to come in and pay the fine, and also bring the property into some type of compliance. Unless its permit needs to be pulled, then they have the permit expiration date to come into compliance.
I can be friendly to dates that we know that we can go back and check and they have complied with the city ordinance. I mean, I'm good with that.
Okay, go ahead. Would you like to make a motion, Commissioner Davis, please?
Yes. I move that we accept the recommendation to release the lien for 702 Olive Street.
We have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
We have a motion, second, all in favor?
Question,
Go ahead.
and my question was, do we have the motion with the dates in there? That's my question. The motion wasn't made with the dates.
So once you release the lien, it's released. We can't re-invoke it.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So we have a motion, a second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Okay, 3-2 in favor. Q, release of lien 4506 Royal Street, Mr. Cutler.
Okay, that property right there, back in 2007, they failed to pull a permit to do additional to the garage. I'm assuming to something inside they closed in the carport. In 2012, 2013, in the agency system, we noticed the code enforcement board still thinking it was out of compliance with $45,000. The property is, that was a picture in there, but I do apologize. The property is in compliance. You can't tell what was done to that was to pull the permit to do that extra work. So what we decided as the code enforcement and the Black to Bright team was to grant the lien reduction and get that price. And we started out at 45,000.
Any questions? Mr. Cutler?
He says in compliance. You saying
Yeah,
that?
the permit they pulled, it was a violation for not pulling the permit back in 2007 to do some interiors, closing in the garage, like they closed in the garage. And see the property now, it looks like, it looks like every other piece of property on that street.
Okay, any other comments? Commissioner Jones?
No.
And again, goes back to the question of the permit, the violation was this. If we see other violations, then that's a whole nother case that we have to start, but we can't add any more violations to this case because the code enforcement board back in 2012, 2013 closed with the fines and fees of that. And that predates.
I'll make a motion that we move forward with the release of lien for this property. I'm familiar with that area and I'm looking at the picture now. It's in compliance, so.
I see.
A motion, a second, all in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Thank you. Do you just?
You can keep going.
Okay. Ordinance, regular business ordinance, schools on the speed infraction program, first reading. Okay.
Recess.
No.
The question. Just called up okay.
No, we're not in recess. No recess. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. You got the call, we brought a presentation to you on school zone safety. The House Bill 67 was passed by the Florida legislation and subsequently signed into law by Governor DeSantis on May 31st, 2003. This law authorizes municipalities to operate speed detection devices and enforce speed limits and handling schools throughout the entire day and aiming to enhance the safety of students and staff curbing speeding in school zones. It provides safety for children and encourage drivers to adhere to the speed limit and drive cautiously
by changing habit. That reason we want to bring it forward to you. We have put in the package for you, ordinance for the city to approve, and, which, begins to be forward in that direction. If you'd like to.
So you have any questions? Okay, do we have a motion?
Yes, Mayor, I move that we approve ordinance 2025-10 first reading.
Motion second, all in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Thank you. Approve policy for non-funding. Funding requests.
You wanna take that one? I'm gonna ask, city attorney.
Sure, I believe this is the second time this is before the commission. This was basically establishing the policy for the commissioners to consider as they make funding bequeathments for these nonprofit organizations that come before the city.
Does that question? Comment? That's all.
I will as soon as I can pull it up. You want me to read the whole policy?
No, not the whole thing, but give us a highlight of why you think and I mean, you're proposing this to us.
Actually, this was a request of the commission.
Put it out there so that people don't think that we just time for another.
I basis of. Sure.
Before you saying that if you were funding, you would not be able to apply for.
Sure, the policy basically requires that all funding requests be submitted to the city clerk's office. It has to be in writing. They have to include a detailed description of what you're going to get funding for the amount request. They have to basically outline a budget of how those funds will be allocated if they're awarded. They have to serve nonprofit status as with as part of the IRS. They have to have documentation demonstrating the impact of the project, specifically targeting the city of Palatka, that appeared to be a consistent request from commissioners, and a timeline for the project. And so basically, with Ms. Party's guidance, based on her previous experience with other municipalities, we need to get those requests submitted by June 1st, so we can start taking a look at the budget they could possibly be going for, and then through the budget process, we make recommendations. So that's going to be of what's expected from an applicant that's going to be requesting money.
And if I may add, the primary intent was to have money set aside during the budgeting process for nonprofits. What it would do, it would give us X amount of dollars. Also, it would allow the commissioners to have a day during the budgeting process to hear from the various nonprofits that want funding from the city. I'm certain that what we can also do is consider and during the contingency for nonprofits during the course of the year that did not come during the budgeting. Just have some time set aside for
For a presentation.
yeah, for emergencies or things that occur during the year that we cannot foresee.
Okay, Commissioner Black.
Yes, the only other thing that I had asked was to, on the every year basis, or did we do
rotating
years?
Yeah.
Or how did it?
I believe we do have that in there because you did say.
That is in there.
Yeah, cause that was a request to make sure that we put rotating years in there and not have, because otherwise we'll be, but the city.
Same person.
No, we'll be budgeting for nonprofits that is not tied to the city.
Yes, sir.
Taxpayer.
So if there is a motion to approve, it would be with that.
Correct.
Okay.
So are there any prohibited organizations that we cannot give money to?
So this is all 100% within the discretion of the commission. What was sought were simply guidelines. So there was consistency. So the public had a better understanding of what you were looking for. And you had a set of criteria by which people that go to see benchmark. But if you don't want a particular applicant or don't like a particular project, you do not have to fund it. It's within your discretion.
I just want to know, do it contains any
And the-
exceptions now?
No,
As
sir.
written?
No, as written, it does not. It only refers to nonprofits.
And 501c3s, that's what.
501c3 organizations.
That's where they are.
No illegal organizations, they still have to comply with state law.
Right.
Any other questions? We do have somebody for public comment, Ms. Kitchen.
The Kitchens, 1027 South 12th Street, Palatka, Florida. On page 1 of this, under eligibility criteria, nonprofit status, the last sentence of that paragraph says, the city shall not consider funding requests for nonprofit corporations, which is fine, or religious institutions. Religious institutions are nonprofit, and you just funded about 2 weeks ago, $25,000 for the homeless shelter that the Presbyterian Church is doing at Westminster Hall. So I think when you exclude religious institutions, and they are nonprofit, and they do help the community, you're violating the First Amendment, discrimination against religious institutions, and you're creating a bias against religious institutions, discrimination. I think the or religious institutions should be scratched from there, and they, as nonprofits, should be allowed to apply. Thank you.
No, no problem. Never mind.
Well, it's on the item, we can discuss it.
Well, we can discuss it, but we're not going to question Ms. Kitchens. We can discuss it.
I wanted
It's
to
on a-
clarify something, but it's okay.
May I say something?
Yes, you may, please.
Okay, looking,
There was a reason for the religious prohibition is the 13th Amendment.
Yeah,
It's the
I
mixing
know.
of church and state. So that's why it was in there.
right.
Is the exact opposite.
Maybe we should
Can you
research.
guys
some-
address, can you say what you just said?
Louder.
Louder, please.
Sure. The reason that that was put in there, that particular last line in the eligibility criteria was so that you wouldn't the mingling of church and state funding, which is a prohibition under the 13th Amendment. So this was actually coming to comply with state and federal law.
And also to clarify, the shelter currently operates at Westminster Hall. They're
501c3.
separate nonprofit, 501c3.
It is.
Not a church.
Right, correct.
Just to clarify.
The shelter
Yes.
that's run by, it's operated by a 501c3.
Yeah.
But they lease space from the church.
Well, I know when a request came from the church or the affiliate of the church or some part of the church, but have 501c, there was a someone that came up and said that we shouldn't give the money to the church. And if so, we were gonna have to give it to all churches. So it seemed like the opinion changed, and I don't know if that's something that we do need to research further and make certain that, we draw a line in the sand. We need to have it spelled out up front before we run into that, because there's religious institutions that have 501(c)(3)s.
Right.
Are we gonna run into that challenge again? So.
I think with reference, and I want to, Commissioner Jones, seek clarity, point of clarification, that the organization that came before us, we were actually attempting to give to the church, which they didn't have the 501c3,
That's the
even if
point.
they were operating on the outside of that particular facility, or that particular entity was not the 501c3. So that's the reason why we were not able to give directly to them, because we were not giving to a nonprofit organization.
So again, the question, where would the separation? And I think that we need to actually have that answered when it comes to us. I'm not saying right now, but think it's time to get in front of it, then application time again. I think we need clarity on it. And so.
I don't think it'll come before if it's not a problem.
I want to see three, they will not be able to make the presentation.
Committee that's going to review all these and make recommendations to us.
Yeah.
They'll go through that process.
That's great. That's great. But again, the question is, it's not a question. Is that 501(c)(3)s do exist in churches.
Yes.
So if there's a question, which I think you just need to explain it to me, because I got lost when you made a statement about church and state and the separation thereof, and that last paragraph mentioned it. Can you clarify what you're trying to say?
So this policy would limit the allocation of funds from the city commission, taxpayer funds, to not-for-profits only with no religious institution affiliation. So if you want to change that wording, that's something that you need to direct to do research on. This was trying to become in compliance with our constitution.
That's what I'm going to say.
I would like to ask, just give us a moment to look at this one more time.
So what time?
Yeah, I'd rather we table. I want to have a conversation with the city attorney for clarity on just something I just heard just now.
Yes.
So,
Do you want to see?
Well, yeah, just to clarify what I was saying, when you say no affiliation with church. Affiliation, and what about association? Because like they said, there's associated people who operate within inside the church that are that, so we need to just sort all those things out.
and that's exactly why I would prefer to table this, please, and give me an opportunity to meet with city attorney a little bit more specifically related to that.
Madam Mayor, I move that we table the item, approving the policy for not-for-profit fund requests to the future meeting.
Second.
The motion is second on the table for table.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Okay. Thank you. Public hearings. Ordinance 2025-1, rezoning property at the intersection of St. John's Avenue and Ziegler from single family residential and to multi-family residential, first reading. Mr. Hall.
Mayor Commissioners, good evening. This is a request to rezone a property, which is approximately 4.23 acres. It is at the intersection of St. John's Avenue and Superior Drive. With the planning development, the request for the rezoning is to go to R3, which is a multi-family residential, and with an overlay PUD. The intent of the development is that, the intent of the request is to develop 58 townhouses, which will only be connected to water services by the city. This item was reviewed by the planning board on January 7, 2025. The staff is recommending approval of this item, the rezoning and the PUD, and to the recommendation, I just wanted to point out that as this afternoon, we finally reached a developer agreement with the developer, with the agent, and I wanted to send that piece for the record. The staff recommendation, there were some conditions attached to the approval. Those conditions have been satisfied, have been included in the development agreement. So our recommendation is just for straight up.
Okay, is the applicant or the representative here?
Yes, yes, he
Is
is.
there any questions? Do we have any questions?
Good evening, Don Holmes, 222 North Third Street, Palatka, Florida, representing the applicant owner. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have if I can, if I'm able. As Mr. Renzo indicated, this was considered by the planning commission, received the unanimous recommendation of improvement. your staff have been very helpful and we've had a very cooperative relationship and attempting to come up with not just the some, but also the development of the games. Obviously, this is a conceptual plan. Start putting the building on the ground. There will be some modifications that are required. Full amount of units, quite frankly, depending upon what the applicant is hopeful and has attempted diligently to come up with a project which he feels there's a market for. You have a lot of projects in Putnam County. They don't seem to be coming out. So this applicant has been working diligently. He thought there was a need to be addressed for providing nurses, medical personnel at the hospital, and perhaps moonlighting doctors. He's trying to bring a price point in of 200,000. And as we all know, the construction world has been very volatile. And I started this process months ago. Honestly, so I don't know if that price point is really anymore. I would. That was his original aim for the funding, a development at a location which would be convenient to the hospital, medical facilities, that area that might attract be attracted to nurses. That primary that market group, and so that was his plan. And questions, I'll do my best to answer. As I said, the planning commission unanimously approved, and with staff, which has been very cooperative, again, very helpful. We've come up with an agreement that we have found acceptable mutually.
Thank you. Questions for Mr. Holmes? No. On the floor to public comment. Is there anybody here for public comment on this item? Seeing none, close public comment. Do we have a motion?
Motion. Second.
The motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Thank you. On to 2025-2, establishing the Cypress Land planned unit development.
Yes, ma'am. That's actually the development agreement that was handed to you outlines the PUD, conceptual terms of the PUD. So, the R3 gave us the multifamily designation so that we can move forward with the density that we consider with the PUD that's in front of you. The PUD, the development agreement actually outlines what's going to be involved in the PUD. And it's conceptual, as I said, and I believe we've talked to some degrees. When you start doing something wrong, you try to observe various requirements that you have with your building and your building specifications and your codes. Some of this may not be able to come at the same density or with the same exact footprint as we have here, because all the certain requirements that you got. But this is a conceptual.
Thank you. Questions?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
I think as I saw, how many units are we talking?
Hopefully 68.
Yeah, so it said about 18 per acre, and it's four acres, 18.
4.23.
4.23.
And I think what we said was,
Like 72? Like 72.
but we're not gonna, we know we don't have the representation. Right.
So it's on one of the questions, and you just really hit on it. And I think we mentioned it one time as a commission about we do zoning changes and get people interested, then they don't follow through. What are we doing, Mr. Gumbo, about protections if we go in and we rezone these areas and then there's no dirt turn? Do we have anything in place that we can revert it back to original zoning? In case that happens, or what are we doing to
We could definitely,
encourage the building?
we could definitely attach a time frame in which they have to start construction. And it's that they could respect to what it was zoned before.
that's necessary or not, but I would, I mean, because we're seeing this happen, and even with the homes, there's some people, they got a concept. We see plans, but nothing materialized and turned back to be as good as life. What happened. Not saying that this could happen here, but I'm asking for future as
Yeah.
people come up and have these questions.
Yeah, the only one that I'm aware of is the developer that it has not started, but it's not moving forward, is the cottages, which is right adjacent to this proposed development. And they have landed line clearing, they have put some infrastructure in, but they're not moving along yet. And that's the only one I'm aware of. There were another one, the Palatka Apartments, that's getting, very close to completion. And then we have the Magnolia Drive that we approved very recently. They are pulling permits right now for line clearing, for putting all the other utilities. So that's moving forward.
So being in close proximity of the other apartments that's now kind of like at a standstill. And I know the studies have been out as far as the impact studies. That's a big congested area right there, that Ziegler, St. John's, and then another apartment complex next to the nursing home right there. Am I talking about the right area?
Yes.
Would it be any impact in and out in that area? I'm quite sure it will, but.
Yeah, well, one of the
Have we
things,
considered that?
yeah, one of the things that we put in the developer agreement is the provision of not a traffic study per se, but a letter from the traffic engineer licensed in the state of Florida addressing, the egress and egress and the generation of trips, which these 58 units, it's not that a lot of new trips that's going to be put on those roads. But it's part of the development agreement.
Well, just going that way to the school down there, then we're gonna have the Villa Farms development on the same road.
Yeah.
A lot of congestion and
My understanding, Commissioner, is that there is sufficient capacity on the roads to absorb development, especially the cottages was taken into consideration. This project probably would not affect that much that capacity.
water development. I just want to ask those questions, and I think that, when we're okay in the rezone and stuff, I just.
Right, no, we look into those things, that's part of our review.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes, I'm in agreement with Commissioner Jones just mentioned about the density, the traffic and all that. But again, the cottages we approved that like 3-4 years ago. And it's been sold since that time, correct?
Once, yes.
Yeah, and it's still not complete. And again, we would like to see when we do approve these projects, putting those time frames on them. Otherwise, they revert back to help get some dirt turned and the city can move forward and not being held back. And we changing our zoning just to appease the conceptual projects, and that's where we failed years past, but we want to make sure that we change the code to make sure that we revert back.
Of course, I'll defer to your attorney, but there's a difference between your zoning and your PUD approval. Zoning is something that I don't mean to, again, if I say something that your city attorney disagrees with, I'm sure she'll speak up, but zoning is something that is either appropriate or it isn't. Based upon the land use, the location, surrounding property uses and so forth. The R3. I also failed to mention that this project also went through your development review committee, which is a requirement before it comes here. So we went through DRC, Development Review Committee. We've been through Planning Commission and now here and a lot of conversation with staff. So I would suggest to you that the R3 zoning is something that either is appropriate or it isn't. Your planning commission and DRC says it is. So then the question is, PUD, unless I'm mistaken, your PUD already has a reverting clause in it states that if construction isn't begun within a certain period of time, my intention is that HUD definition are limited. So you have, my hope for this project is it isn't quite so ambitious a project. If you understand what I'm saying. 195 units on 16 acres. I was here when that was submitted. With all due respect, that's an ambitious project that I think will carry. The quadplex concept as it was first proposed with individual ownership in each of the quads. Yeah, I'm not a planner, but in this market, I had a very hard time from day one seeing how that was going to be a real market concept. Anything more about that other than I drive by it and look at all the dirt and all the trees taken down. That's what I see. This is a less ambitious project. Maximum 68. I'm not sure we're going to get 68. We talked about that and what I have, because that's when we comply with your code requirements for different things. Yes, I think it could be less because the code's got to be complied with in the building construction, right? So I think, and these are townhouses and duplex configurations, which I would suggest is a marketable concept. There are a lot of folks who don't want a lot of houses, especially if it's a single nurse. Maybe it's not even a to come here for short stays. We had some too. I think that's probably going to continue. This would be close to the hospital, relatively easy maintenance for a homeowner, and that is my owners, my clients concept and hope. So with that in mind,
Thank you. I'll step down. I'm going to open the floor to public comment. Is there anybody here for public comment? Seeing none, close public comment. We have a motion.
Motion to approve. Second.
The motion is second, all in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Appreciate it.
you. To speak ordinance 2025-3, station of property. 1604 into the floor three. List of. First reading.
First reading, yes. Thank you, Madam Mayor, Commissioners. This is a request to annex a single family home property into the city limits for the purpose of connecting to city water and sewer. Also, the request includes a change the future land use from the county from public county water reserve to the city of Palatka with low residential land use designation, and also rezoning from the Palatka County single family R1A to the city of Palatka single family R1A. This request has been reviewed by the planning board on January 7th, 2025, and they are recommending approval of three requests that is not necessary approval. It is in compliance with the Florida statute for the annexation, and it meets all the requirements for rezoning and future land use amendment.
Thank you. Is the applicant or the representative here?
Yes, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Come on, Mr. Barnes. You want to tell us?
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Commissioners. Thank you. Chase Barnes, 101 Lisa Lane. As our planning director mentioned, our sole intention is to annex into the city for the purpose of utilizing the city utilities. Hopefully it's pretty straightforward. It's a single family house. It's a single family house. And happy to answer any questions.
Does anybody have any questions? Any questions? I'm going to put the floor to public comments. Anybody here for public comment? Seeing none, I'll close public comment. Do a motion.
Got a question. Oh.
Did you say this already, but because it's a single family home, it only requires one reading? Or does this require two readings?
No, it requires two readings.
Oh, okay.
What it doesn't require two readings is the future land use amendment.
Oh, okay, next one.
Because it's a small scale. Yeah, it's a small scale plan amendment, so it only requires one hearing. So when we come back to the second hearing, it will only be for the annexation and the result.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Yep. So we have a motion from Commissioner Carroll. Maybe second.
She's second.
Second, sorry. All in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Thank you. Going to E, which is part of ordinance 25-4, amendment of the future land use map of the adopted comprehensive plan in regard to property located at 1604 Hudson Island from Putnam County Urban Reserve, UR, to City of Palatka Residential Zone. Mr. Unsung already read it. Gave us information on it. This is the first one. Also, there's additional questions of the applicant. If not, public comment. Anybody here for public comment? Seeing closed public comment, motion.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Thank you. On to ordinance 25-5, rezoning 25-5, rezoning property located at 1604 Hudson Avenue from Putnam County Single Family Residential 1A to City of Palatka Single Family 1A, first reading. So God, the information on this. Further questions of him? Public comment, does anybody have public comments? Seeing no closed public comment, motion?
Motion to approve.
Second? Okay, second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Thank you. Ordinance 2025, 9, accessory dwelling ordinance and second reading.
Okay, so commissioners, this ordinance is designed to address the affordable housing crisis. This is an accessory dwelling unit ordinance that will allow dwelling units to be permitted in all single-family districts and other zoning districts in the city. It's also the intent and the purpose of this ordinance to create a regulatory framework that encourages the development of communities that will benefit on the housing market to members of our community. As we mentioned, the couple city commission meetings ago, there are no less than 2 bills currently pending in the legislature that are likely going to make it mandatory that governments adopt it in the ordinance. So we're just a little bit of here and put them down. Supposed to help with the affordable housing crisis.
Thank you. Any questions? I'm gonna open the floor to public comment. Anybody here for public comment? Seeing closed public comment, do we have a motion?
Second.
Motion second in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Thank you. Ordinance 24 adopted. There was a future land use map of the adopted conflict plan in regards to property located at Azalea Place subdivision phase 2, 00 Kelly Smith River School from Palatka, from City of Palatka Commercial to City of Palatka Residential Law. First reading.
Yes, Madam Mayor, Commissioners, this item has been in front of you quite a few times. It's been pending since June of last year. It is a small scale plan amendment for 3 planned lots and to go from commercial, residential, to residential law and to resolve the property from commercial 1 to residential 1. The planning board has reviewed this application and recommended that approval of both requests back in their meeting on March 5th, 2024, over a year ago. And staff is recommending approval. It meets all the requirements for rezoning for the future land use. We recommend the commission that you adopt the ordinance 2024-7/2024.
Thank you.
And the applicant is here.
Applicants are here.
Yes.
If you'd like to come up, please. Okay. Does anyone have questions specifically of the applicant? For a public comment, Mr. Clark has called.
Clark, Florida. This was in a scrimmage there. That's what the lawyer come in and said it was a scrimmage there. Property was in the front, y'all moved it to the back. When you moved it to the back, it's already 3 city waterhead that ain't got no permit to see, not a county. So is this a pre-plan that y'all gonna do this, or,
I don't quite.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm gonna break it down to you. Jonathan Griffin name was on this. It's a violation of the city ethics. This got waterhead on the back of this property. There's no permit out of waterhead been done from the city or the county. But it's a scrimmage area. Y'all have the scrimmage area different than the city.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. If does anybody want to speak to whatever?
Well, how can you pass this and Jonathan Griffin?
Well,
And make it a conflict, but y'all erase it all, but you voted down by the city commission. When Jonathan Griffin. Hold on, man, I got 3 minutes, you gonna stop talking?
Well, you need to come back. I was asking you to come back to the point, please.
Jonathan Griffin name on this, it's a conflict. He was the city manager when this happened. It's major conflict. It's waterheads on county property that nobody don't know about. So it's this pre-planned. It's parcels, it's exactly what the waterheads is. Is this pre-planned that this was already be done?
And once you're finished, we'll try to address. Thank you. Mr. Hall.
Yeah, Madam Mayor, Commissioner, there's no screamers errors here. The house that he's referring to went through the proper channels. We got a building permit by the county, was approved by the city as well. The water lines, were also approved by the city. So there's no screamers errors, there's no issues. Mr. Cliff is that part of the company that have ownership on it. And you heard that before.
Thank you. Good, let's hear for public comment. Staying on the public comment, do we have a motion? Appears we don't have a motion.
Perhaps the applicant would like to address the commission.
Yes, please come up.
Toby McWiggin, Great Cove Springs, Florida. Any more questions? I mean, I think we've talked about this for a year now, so I don't really know what else to add to this.
Perhaps you can tell us what the consequences are if we don't move forward now that everything has been resolved. Go ahead.
I have a question, and I apologize when I went to understand this. The previous approvals we've given related to this. Can someone tie something together? I don't know what we're doing.
I think I wrote like a 3-page timeline that kind of outlined where this whole thing started. The first approval was a land split and a rezone. And that whole thing immediately, and then we got a building permit and we built a house on it. And in order to get the house on there, we had to move the utilities across the street, and the city said it was our responsibility to take care of it. So we went ahead and got the engineers and we got it moved across the street and put it there. The second approval that we had was for plat for 3 lots. I don't know why the rezone didn't happen concurrently with the plats like it normally does, but I don't work here, so I don't know. But the plat was approved and the plat was recorded, and then we tried to do the rezone, and that's when everything kind of blew up. So that's where we are.
So this is that rezone request again. I'm gonna make a motion for discussion. I move that we accept ordinance 24-08.
Motion. Thank you for purposes of discussion.
We have a motion, second. Any further discussion?
Well, just for sake of discussion, I think it's very important
We the hesitancy on my part, I can only speak for me, is how we arrived here. Come in and it's nothing that it's just the way that we've gotten here and the level of transparency. If legal's good, we did put a great demand on the owners to prove otherwise, because the way that it came to us, it did not come to us the way that it's being presented to us tonight, or have in the 2 to 3 meetings we asked for an extensive time. They did avail themselves to comply with those things. That's where a lot of the hesitancy has come from with regards to this property, and that's what's operating in complete transparency. How it started, how it went, and how it is completely different. So I think, again, that's where quite a bit of the hesitancy, that's why it was pushed off. That's why we had explored not to come before the commission until certain things were addressed. So that's where a lot of the hesitancy comes with regards to this particular property.
Okay, so we have a second. Go ahead, Commissioner Brown.
Yeah, and my only hesitancy is because of the whole nature of why we kept pushing it off, because there were conflicts of interest associated with it. If you break a glass, you put that glass back together again, it's still different. It's different. You break a mirror, it's a broken mirror. You can't, it'll never be the same again. So again, we had an issue. Regardless of regardless if a person is still not with the no longer part of that, during the time the person was part of that, which created a conflict of interest. That's my issue. We can move to vote on it, and that's where I'm at.
Thank you. Any further? Go ahead, Commissioner Davis.
Before we vote, I'd like to ask Ms. West, can you talk to us about consequences of action or lack of action, please?
Yes, and I have also detailed this in an extensive legal memorandum. So I don't like talking about what I have already disclosed to you in a legal memorandum, but there are consequences, Commissioner, as you have pointed out. There is a potential risk that if you proceed with a denial, that it could be considered a private property rights taking under the Park Fairness Act. That is one possibility. So we have been very careful in meeting with the applicant's attorney, the city manager, and I have made extensive requests for a timeline, an affidavit as to that timeline. So when they are submitting the chronology of events, and we have a period of time making sure that the entities that were involved in the previous corporation are no longer involved with this corporation. And the steps to provide you legal comfort of mind, knowing that if you approve today, you are doing so in a ethical manner. But not approving it also has potential fiscal consequences for the city. I think that's.
Thank you. Commissioner Barr.
Well, I hear the city attorney, but she said could be, but the thing with that is if you have people not in this arena, just say 5 people went into a place and robbed the place, and those 5 people were identified as the people who went in and robbed the location. Well, you got people say, okay, well, I had the gun, I had the car, so everybody who was part of that, right? So if you're part of something at that time, you can't come back and say, okay, well, now we cleaned it up. We cleaned it up. Now this is no longer the case, and you got the same property that was initially dealt with during that time. That's why we started the process in terms of pushing this thing out until the investigation was over. The investigation is over. The information is in the report. We had the January 23rd meeting of this year. We had A&M, the owners that came and spoke on that. And so when they said that, the other person who used to be part of the project was on there for a year. So it all happened during that time. So my thing is, we can move forward with it if you like. We just put the vote on, run the vote, zero.
Thank you. So again, Commissioner Jones.
It's only right that I say something. And it's just to add what Commissioner Borum said. It's almost like fruits of it's ill-gotten goods, is how I see it. I think things were done inappropriately. We had an investigation that revealed that, and Toby, you came up and you actually, in your explanation, you indicated all those things, you confirmed it. And it's not on you, but it's gonna affect you, because sometimes that's what happens. And like Commissioner Campbell said, that's the hesitancy. Nobody really, we have compassion for your position. However, I really think that we wouldn't be here if there wasn't basically like inside knowledge, working knowledge. That's my opinion from what I see, what I've read. And I think that in any litigations that brought forth, that we could stand on the information that we were given, the facts that were given, and even to the point where I understand where Mr. Park come from, everybody else probably don't. And that's where water and sewer was already connected prior to us giving any okay from up here. Nobody addressed that. Not only that, I think we were misled in the beginning, and that was an internal thing. And so that's my point. I want to be, I'm not gonna hide behind a choice. I want the public to know the reason why I feel the way I do. And if those reports, what the public don't have that we have, is the report from an investigation, which I really think that would clear it up, where people would know that we're being transparent and honest in this dealing. Because if we're ever asked, I think it's supported by the documentation that was presented.
Thank you. Any further discussion, Commissioner Davis?
I want to say this, and I hear my fellow commissioners. I hear everybody. At the end of the day, we do our due diligence, and again, some of this I came into on obviously here on the back end. But part of that due diligence, decisions were made, and I understand they were made with the information at that time. I guess my question is, there have been some consequences to actions, even though the consequences may not be sufficient for some people. And I don't know that we should be combining that with the risk. I'm sorry, we should compare that to the risk of the city and moving forward with this request. So I do want to just say that. I'm going to, I want to say too, righting the wrongs or righting the ills that previously happened. And the catalyst for it is clear. There's other things that kind of complicate it, so it's obviously not black and white. The catalyst is clear, but the catalyst is more. We're talking about the investigation, the person. I get it. So I just want to say that as well, and clear transparency from my perspective. I always want to keep my eye on what's best for the city at this point. And so that's really what I would say. So if we can consider that.
Any further? So we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
Thank you. Opposed. H, ordinance 24-08, zoning property located in Azalea Place. Subdivision 0 Palatka from single practice commercial to Palatka residential single family on first reading. I know it's connected.
Yeah, just recommend approval.
Kids? Do. Oh, yeah, go ahead. Motion.
No, you say it's connected. I'm not making a motion.
Well,
So-
do you want Mr. Obama to?
So moved. Second.
Okay, I'm going to open the floor to public comment. Mr. Clark has.
My boy, right there.
Okay. Thank you. We have anybody else here for public comment? Closing public comment. We have a motion, a second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
I said aye. Okay. I didn't hear that, I'm sorry. Okay,
Thank you, Commissioners.
thank you. Commissioner comments?
Yeah, I normally try to sit back and be reserved and try to address Mr. Clark and the stating that your voice is not being heard. Your voice is being heard. We heard absolutely everything that you say multiple times. You actually preparation or give. And then one thing, but for you to come and to say that your voice is not being heard, that's the farthest thing from the truth. I personally, your voice is definitely your voice is definitely heard. Is it what you want to hear? That may be, this is the opportunity. But I'll be more than happy to again set up another meeting. And if I need to bring staff in, I will, so that we can make sure that you feel that you so rightfully deserve. And so any other person that comes in here, I don't want you to feel as if your voice or you're not getting the answer. It may not be what you want to hear or desire to hear, but your voice has been heard multiple times, multiple occasions with regards to any information. So please, I want you to move beyond being that your voice is not heard. And again, if I, as Commissioner Campbell, need to set, matter of fact, I want to set up a meeting. And I want to have city staff available so that I'm able to dive or help you dive, or we both dive into it to make sure that we both have a vast understanding of where we were, what we are, and how to proceed if we are to proceed in a different way. But again, your voice has been. I would like to extend happy birthday to my wife who is today.
Okay.
So apologize for the commission for her attendance. That was finalized today with some of the immunity, and I did not want to miss that. I just did not want to miss that because it was connected to the youth. But overall, I would have been here, but thank you for allowing me the opportunity to assist with that. And then report to the commission.
Commissioner Jones? Any comments?
Yes. Commissioners, let's be mindful of how we address citizens in our talk. Because I want to welcome them to participate in this democratic part of legislation. I know that we have passion in what we say, but it's just the way that we need to. I'm taking my own advice on things, so we need to watch the tone we use when we talk to people. Like when I talk to Allegra, I'm making sure that I break it down. So I appreciate everybody who take the time out to sit through these meetings. I know sometimes it can be painful, and understanding that when we don't always agree, it's okay to disagree and still be cordial with one another and respect one another. That's all I have to say, Madam Mayor. Can't you see how me and Madam Mayor have basketball friends? That's right. So we have learned.
Oh my God, kumbaya.
Commissioner Board.
Yes, I just want to thank the community for coming and being with us. I mean, I know I asked when I first got elected in 2014, and wanted the community to be part of what we do, and for me to integrate into the community to make sure that we're serving the needs of the entire community. And with that being said, we have a number of things that is going to be before us that's going to affect our cities greatly. And you see some of them as it relates to sovereign immunity. We got other things that's going to be hitting us too with the EV transition from gas to electric vehicles. There's a number of things that's on the slate, and I'll probably be requesting some time with the city attorney to look at some of those things, and we need to get some more education out to the community as it relates to these bills. You guys need to look at signing up to Local Voices United. Those type things help with bills that come up that impact your daily lives. And so you think that you don't want to be part of politics, but you should be. So there's a number of different things. We got 21 that we're tracking here with the city. So we're going to get more education out to the community.
And to echo Forum, the CRA is going to have a great impact on this, the legislation that's being proposed in regards to the CRA, and basically ending or limiting the CRA is going to have a significant impact on the city if it does go through. So please, people, be informed and contact your representatives.
Yeah, ditto from my fellow commissioners. I do want to say, thank you, because it's budget, so thank you to the city for sending us to the FBC Leo Annual Conference, my first conference, and we celebrated 40 years of existence. And why is that important? And why is it important that we go? Because we get to talk to other elected officials, and it gives us an opportunity to bring things back and hopefully implement some things that they've done by trial and error that we can do to help our city. We also had some very informative sessions. And some of the areas we talked about were informed decision-making, seeking justice for people, not for politics, and effective, and to be effective in driving significant change. And I also want to say congratulations to my fellow Commissioner Campbell, who is now the president of FBC Leo, and to Commissioner Board, I believe FBC Leo secretary.
I've been there for the last 3 years.
Yeah, he's been that for 3 years, but you're still, so thank you. Welcome to the Workers' Party as the permanent city manager, who hit the ground. Hit the ground running months ago, and just skinny. So thank you. Slow down a little bit, because we have work to do, but we're very glad that you're here. Looking forward to making political betterment in leadership. Thank you to you guys for sitting and here a lot, but it's important and it's valuable. Thank you very much.
With that said, do we have a motion to adjourn? Thank you all.